All right. How's everybody doing today? So let's get rolling. We're talking today about hiring for a vision, not just a purpose. There's been some great content on these calls so far, and thank you for joining us today. I know December tends to be a busier month with life and everything else. Um, so let's get rolling. So TCPA compliance, do's and don'ts. You've seen this on all the slides. Make sure you are doing everything in a TCPA compliant way, and follow the rules. So a little bit about me. My background is first of all, my name's Chase Delperdang. Background in nonprofit leadership, real estate, and working with some great organizations. I am the co-owner of Team Integrity with my business partner Jenny. We are an expansion team operating in 5 locations. Close anywhere around 500 homes annually across 5 locations. So 3 of which are in Arizona, and then one in Nevada and one in Kansas City as well. I'm a Keller Williams University approved trainer, and as well as for career visioning and the leverage series as a whole, which is my passion and what we're talking about today. Uh, Previous life, I was a pastor and itinerant speaker, working with students and churches. I helped build houses in Mexico for a nonprofit called One Mission. So we provide housing for families living in poverty. And I am a football coach for 35 12-year-old young men. So that is fun and crazy. And I'm also part of Gary's new business mastermind group. There's about 20 of us, 25 of us that meet with Gary every quarter. And it is just a great time to learn from Gary himself. So, as we talk about today, hiring for a purpose and a vision is hiring and retaining talent has been a passion of mine, and that has been through a lot of failures and not following the system and wishing I did and trying to shortcut it. And most of our struggles typically come from trying to skip the system or skip a couple steps, but really making sure that we're following the career visioning process to a T to make sure that we make good hires. And if at any point you have any questions or comments or emotional outbursts, come off mute. Love to hear from you. Um, so as we start this, we really have to look at what are the signs that we can look for that we need leverage, right? So leverage is going to come uh, from a couple different points, and one of the worst ways that we can hire and bring people into our world is out of pain and out of a rush. So we really have to look at some key indicators as to when do we need leverage, when do we need to bring people into our world, and also to make sure that we're ready for that. So a couple of different ways that, we see that we need leverage is in your work and personal life. So what does that look like? That might look like you start to you're working more hours than you thought you should have, right? Your work starts to fail a little bit. You might start to drop the ball on some things. The big one is personal life. You look at key relationships in your life, and maybe you don't have enough time to spend with those people. And you really start that you have to believe that you have to start compromising on time with your personal life and those key relationships. Next is your clients. And one way that I talk about this with signs that you need leverage from your clients is you start to break your promises. You go to a listing presentation or a buyer consultation, and what you promised you said you would do, you're not able to, and you can't do it all. And next is amongst your team is if you have a transaction coordinator or a buyer's agent or a listing agent, admin, um, when they start to see that they're overworked or they're not holding their promise, as well as you. So those are just a couple signs and indicators that you need leverage. And one of the ways too that's not in here is you might see yourself starting to plateau. And year over year, or you might be going backwards. And you might think, oh, well, that's less work or less transactions I'm doing, but that might be indicative of a bigger problem as well. So when we move into this, identifying the role of your need. What's the role that you need to fill? And first one is this is where's the pain? Where's the pain? Um, with this, that might be social media and marketing. Is you hate doing it, you are not great at it. It's taking you 3 hours to make an Instagram post, and it's just eating up your clock and your schedule. It might be transaction management. It might be listings. It might be buyers. You are running yourself ragged with buyers, or your team members are. So where is the pain? Next is we got to look at what's the organizational model. So one of the favorite classes that I teach and just love doing is career visioning and the leverage series as a whole, Success for Others, 30, 60, 90, is they give us a roadmap to success of who you should hire and by when, right? A lot of the times we skip steps and end up paying for it down the road. That first hire that we get should be some type of administrative person that's going to help leverage off the 80% of our plate, and our 80% becomes their 20%, right? The things that are not the highest yield of our resources and our time personally now become somebody else's top 20%. In all actuality, can probably end up doing it better than we can. The next is what perspectives are you currently missing in your business? So this is the need, this is sponsored by and put on by MAPS Coaching, and how do you identify the perspectives that are missing in your business is by having a coach. Having somebody that has a full 360 view of your business, not just from a number standpoint, but also personality standpoint. And having a coach that you're going to meet with is going to give you the opportunity to have a 360-degree view of what are the gaps and what's the gain as well. So what perspectives are you currently missing in your business? If you have a team right now, this is a great opportunity for you to sit down with them and plan out, hey, 2026 is just around the corner. We're basically there. Who is the person or the position that we need filled that can not only leverage off of our plates so we can maintain focus on our top 20%, but also propel us to the next level, whatever that may be. And that can take a more purposeful aspect and focus in that certain area. So what are the benefits of a good hire? I can tell you all the benefits of a bad hire, right? Because I've made several of them. But what are the benefits of a good hire? Is they're going to restore, maintain, and enhance your customer service. And I would even take it a step further, is it's going to enhance our client experience. Real estate right now, customer service is what is expected. Our clients are expecting good customer service from us. That's why they hired us. But what is the client experience that we can put into the transaction and after the transaction that's going to make them raving fans for life? What are the touch points within the transaction that we can gain referrals from, as well as establish relationships? I was with Gary a couple weeks ago in Austin, and they showed us a survey from 1000 Watt, if you haven't seen it yet. And they talked about what are the high points within a transaction that allow us as agents and fiduciaries to build trust and respect. And as real estate agents, we typically think that is the keys, right? Or even at the closing table. But through the 1000 Watt survey for sellers, is it said the high point in the transaction for them was actually moving day. So finding out how you can enhance your customer service. Next is a good hire will benefit us and will protect you and your business from risk, right? When we get moving too fast, we start to miss things, which open up a ton of risk for us. And a good hire is this: it'll give you time to focus on your top 20%, which allows you to grow your business and your profit. And a good hire is going to end up paying for themselves. A good hire is going to end up paying for themselves. The return on investment should show up within the first 90 days. Now, they're not going to fully pay for themselves. Sometimes they will, but you're going to start seeing within the first 90 days of how they are going to be a good investment for you and your business. And that's why we need to really focus on the 30, 60, 90-day protocol and what are the benchmarks that we need to hit with them. So benefits of a good hire, enhance customer service, protect your business from risk, and give you back your top 20%. So the path of business ownership, if you've taken career visioning or the leverage series before, you've seen this, or business planning clinic, is the path of business ownership. The I do and we do is you still have a job. It is reliant upon you. I give the example of my chiropractor is he has a big practice, but he has a job. When they shut down for a week after Christmas, they don't get paid. So they still have a job. And then as you grow and you retain top talent, you move from the I do and we do to they do it. And that's truly when you've established and you have a business, right? They are doing it. Those are specialists in a role that are fulfilling the vision. And we'll talk about that. The vision is the big vision and big why that you have for your business. And it'll move into a business model. The next step, that seventh level team, is that the job is theirs. That's when you're building an empire, right? They own that job. Require little, when you hire right people and motivated people, require little direct oversight and management, because those are people that are empire builders that through the career visioning process, which takes a lot of time, but prevents a lot of bad hires, you start to build that empire. So how do you retain and attract top talent? Is you've got to be an opportunity magnet. One of the questions I ask when I coach agents and I speak, especially around hiring, is, are you somebody, and is your organization somebody that you would want to go work for? Is it somebody that are you creating such an atmosphere and opportunity for your people that you yourself would want to go work for you? And that's a hard conversation to have, but it allows us to become real and have a good perspective of our business. So how do you become an opportunity magnet and hire for that vision of your business? Is you've got to have value. What is the value that you create? What is the value that you have within your organization such that when you bring people into it, they never want to leave? And one of the responsibilities that you have as a business owner or somebody who is growing your business and retaining and attracting talent is you have to make your world big enough consistently that nobody would ever want to leave. That nobody ever want to leave. Are the people in your organization, or the people that you want to bring in, is your umbrella or your business empire as a whole so big and constantly growing that they can see you as the path to their success and wealth building journey as well? Next is validity. Do you have the validity and the track record to attract top talent? And that validity is expressed and worked out and fleshed out over time, but is also a story that you need to write for yourself and tell other people. Because one thing that we realize within this business is nobody else is going to tell your story for you. Are you sharing those wins? Do you have those testimonies of agents or staff or team members that are out there that are sharing your story with you and for you? So through value and validity, you become a talent magnet. So when we talk about hiring for a vision and for a purpose, right? Two items that we need to identify right off the bat from talented individuals, or to see if they're talented individuals. The first one is what is their track record? What is their track record? When you look at their business and their past, and it doesn't even have to be real estate related. Gary says it himself, there is so much opportunity out there for talented individuals that are looking to make a switch than ever before. So what is their track record? And again, that track record might be in a field that has nothing to do with real estate, but where have they been and where are they going? Have they been flatlined for the last several years? Or with whatever ecosystem that they've been working in for the last however many years, do they have a great track record within it? The next is trajectory. The next is trajectory. Where has their trajectory been with where they're at? Are they constantly growing? Are they constantly investing in themselves? And are they growing the business that they're in currently? So those are the two questions that we ask always is, what is their track record and what is their trajectory? And we'll typically map that out with them by asking some great questions. All right, so how do we identify non-talent and talent? How do we identify non-talent talent? This chart you may have seen before. It is something that we have printed out and posted. It is a great resource. And so non-talent brings you problems, talent and role finds solutions. Working through this list as you go through an interview process, especially as you go 3 deep in references. You know, if there's one area I think that is skipped over the most in the career visioning process and the hiring process is going 3 deep for references. And what I mean by that is with real estate agents, especially, most teams don't check references. And especially if you're hiring a very pivotal role within your organization from an administrative standpoint, is so important to go 3 deep. So you ask for references, and we usually stop at the first level. What's most important is, you know, if I'm interviewing Joe and they send me Sam as a reference, is I'm going to ask all those pertinent questions to Sam, but I'm also going to ask Sam, hey, do you know of anybody else that's worked with Joe that I can talk to? Because Joe typically is not going to give you a reference of somebody that's going to say anything negative about him. We're naturally going to give people that are going to go at bat for us. But by going 3 deep, right, that allows us to get the real person who Joe is, because they didn't even know that they're going to be on a reference form. So going 3 deep will really find out ahead of time if they are non-talent or if they are talent. And if you have any questions about any of this stuff, go and throw it in the chat and we'll get those answered here towards the end. Next is this. Understanding their big why will allow you to see if they fit your vision for your company. Understanding their big why will allow you to see if they're a fit for your vision and for your company. Most people can't articulate their big why, so it's important to really dig down with these questions. Like, why do they get up in the morning? What drives them? What motivates them? Because we want to make sure that their motivating factors fits in within the culture of your organization. Does their big why fit in within the vision and the culture of your corporation or your business? You know, one of the things that I hear the most that prevent people from growing organizations is they don't want to negatively impact culture, or they don't want their culture to change. But in all reality, whenever you bring any other human element into an organization, the culture is going to change. But by asking the right questions and understanding the big why, their motivating factors in life, it has the opportunity to positively impact culture. So culture is going to change regardless when you bring an individual into your organization. You just get to decide through the vetting process if it's going to negatively or positively impact your culture. So what is their big why? Asking questions like, where do you see yourself in 5 years? And you'll find that out through the motivational part of career visioning. is what do you do with your free time? What do you do with your free time when you've got 2 or 3 days off work, um, nothing to do? What do you typically do? What are the last books you've read? Right? Those are all questions that will start to stir up the personal aspect of uh, their vision. And understanding too is that will all work itself out eventually, or play itself out eventually as you hire them. But if your culture is all about customer service, regardless of the commission, regardless of the sales price, it's all about customer service. We want to create raving fans for life. And you sit and you interview with somebody and ask their big why, and it's, hey, I just want to make as much money as fast as I possibly can. I really don't want to stay um, in contact with past clients as much. I really just want to close and deal and move on to the next. That might not be the cultural fit for you. That might start to jeopardize the brand that you're trying to build and the reputation and validity you're trying to build within your market. So understanding their big why will allow you to see if they're a fit in your vision for your business. So we talk about the motivational interview. This is extremely important not to skip within this process. And the way this works is sitting down with them and getting a whiteboard or a rip-off note card or stick it and saying, if we're sitting here 5 years from now and we're going over the last 5 years, where would you see yourself in your job? What would make it a success 5 years from now? What does your job look like? Right. And when you start to ask these types of questions around job is, let's talk about hiring a buyer's agent on your team. Is you ask them and you say, where do you see yourself 5 years? They say, well, I really want to have my own team 5 years from now and running my own organization. And that's not good nor bad for you. You might go, okay, well, I've got 5 years with you here, maybe then, or 3 or 4 years, and that's good enough for me. Or you might be looking for somebody in your organization as we're all about longevity and providing opportunity for our people that stay here and don't have to go anywhere. It's good information. Money is asking them where they see themselves, what they see themselves making in 5 years. And through your numbers and through your average price point and average commission for your agents on your organization, is that a fit? Can they do that within your organization? Talking about their future. What does your future look like in the next 5 years? And then your life. They might say, well, I really want to relocate out of state within the next 5 years to be close to family, or in the next year or the next 2 years. So making sure that that is a fit for your organization and where you want to go with them, finding out what motivates and drives them will make sure that they are in line with the culture and the value and the vision of your organization as well. You're also going to find out a couple things through a motivational interview like this. Is you will find people that have their life spelled out for them. They're very clear about their goals and their purpose and where they want to go. Or you might sit down with somebody through the motivational interview and you'll say, where do you see yourself in 5 years? And they say, well, I have no idea. I've never really thought about it. Or I don't look that far in advance. Or I have no idea. You're really going to start to see, is this somebody that is a talented individual with clear purpose and vision about who they are and what they want to become? Or you'll find someone that's kind of just floundering and goes in and out with the tide with their life. So make sure that through the motivational interview, you're asking good and direct questions. All right. Within the life story as well, you're going to find out some motivating and key factors. Your life story with them is extremely important. asking them the simple question of, as far as you want to go back, we can go back 5 years, 10 years. Most people will kind of start when they graduate high school. That's what I found is, hey, tell me what happened after you became an adult and what did you do? Well, I went into the military, or I went and started working at X, Y, and Z company. And then, okay, great. Where did you go after that? And you're going to start to find out through those questions, and you pry more and you peel back the onion of, oh, I found out that every time things got hard at a job, they quit and moved on to the next. Oh, so you left uh, job at Starbucks. Why did you leave that job? Oh, my manager was a jerk. Okay, so where'd you go next? Um, I went to Costco. Great. You saw you were there for 2 years. Um, why did you end up leaving that job and moving on to the next one? Man, my management was just not great. And you start to find out that they have a victim mindset of somebody else is always a jerk to them, or their boss is not great. And guess what? You're going to be on that list for their next job, right? You're going to be on that list for their next um, application. So making sure that you're hiring with a full 360 of who the person is, to make sure that they fit within the organization, the culture of your team. One of the things that we like to do when we hire for our organization is to ask questions about their personal, within a respectful way, and about their personal life, and um, making sure if we have the opportunity before we bring somebody on, is to, if they have a partner or a spouse, is to meet them as well. One of the best investments you can possibly make is to take them both out to dinner, to meet them as well. We joke around all the time. They might not be crazy, but they might have married crazy, and it's going to permeate their business every single day. So finding out them as a whole, right? Our team that we have is very culturally driven. We do a lot of events together. We do a lot of get-togethers as well. And making sure that this person is going to be a cultural fit is one of the most important things that we have for our organization. So as we recap a lot of these, let me go backwards. Understanding their big why will allow you to see if they fit into the vision of their organization, and will avoid a lot of heartache down the road. And this sounds like a lot of work, and it sounds like it'd be easier just to bring somebody on, see if they work, and then if they don't, we'll move on to the next. But you're going to put the work in hiring and retaining top talent. You just get to decide if you put the work in up front to make sure they're a good fit, or if you put the work in on the back end to clean up the mess that they left. You can't avoid the work. You just get to decide on where you put it in, on the front end, hiring great people, or on the back end, cleaning up the mess that they create sometimes. That is what I have for hiring, recruiting, and making sure that you bring people in to elevate the culture and the vision of your organization. I highly suggest, if you have not taken career visioning or the leverage series as a whole, to do that. In addition to that, every time you take that class, you are in a different part of the stream. I've taken it probably 8 or 9 times now, and each time I've learned something different, because I've been in a different journey within our business to get there as well. If anybody has any questions around hiring, they can drop into the chat and we can address those. But if you are looking to hire and have not taken the career visioning leverage series process, highly suggest you put that on your calendar and your GPS, and make it a big rock for you in the first quarter of 2026. All right. That's what I got for you today. I hope you enjoy all of these classes that MAPS are offering. They are absolutely phenomenal. Make sure you sign up for the ones that are remaining. We're about halfway through them. And that's what I got for you. If you have any questions, my email is chase@teamintegritytucson.com. Love to help you out. Hope you guys have a phenomenal holiday season. Stay safe.